Today I will be sharing with you my multimodal presentation. I am going to be talking about my experience in a first grade classroom at Crawford Woods Elementary and all of the valuable lessons I have learned. First impression of the school was really positive and welcoming. When I walked into the school, the secretary was super kind and welcoming to all of us. She had a big smile on her face and gave each of us our classroom number and the name of our teachers. My two teachers were also very kind when we went into the classroom for the first time. They seemed very laid back and chill. They were very open to us teaching our lessons and completing all the assignments we had. From day one, we jumped in and helped the students. As time went on, they gave us many teacher tips to help us through our field experience. The kids were really shy when we first met them, but over time, they opened up and they became very attached to us. Crawford Woods Elementary is a very low-income school. Almost all the students are on free or reduced lunch, and each kid gets free breakfast every day. When starting my experience at Crawford, I assumed these kids would have a lot of behavioral problems and be mean to each other, because I had heard that Crawford has had problems with behavior. I should not have assumed this because after spending so much time at this school, I have learned how awesome these kids are. I have such great kids in my classroom that are all so kind and caring to their classmates and to their teachers, and they were very kind to me. I included some pictures of some drawings that kids did for me and some of the work that they did in the class. I think my positionality led to this assumption because I grew up very privileged and felt like I was in a bubble. My school was not diverse and everyone was middle to upper class, so I never experienced a school like this one. Some fun things I got to do with the kids that showed me how great they were was being able to teach a math lesson and a science lesson. For the math lesson, we did pocket day, and for the science lesson, we taught them about the butterfly life cycle. They all loved it so much, and they got to do so many fun things during the lessons. I also got the opportunity to go on a field trip with the kids. They also loved this and got to do so many cool things. I included pictures from the lessons and one pictures of all the kids looking at a snake. These experiences showed me how amazing and kind these kids are and reminded me why I want to be a teacher so bad. It took time to understand all the kids in my classroom and to fully understand the school. Some things I did to expand my observations is I sat with all different groups during math and reading stations. I did sight word assessments with the students. One of my teachers does reading recovery with few of the students, so I attended that multiple times as well. All of these experiences showed me the different levels of all the students and showed me how they all learn differently. This expanded my observations because I would not know details about my students' learning if I did not experience these things. I know what things work for each student better after these experiences. I included this quote, "Every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way." The journey to fully understand my school site also took a lot of time. This is something I really focused on during my 2 full weeks in field. I had many opportunities to get to know everyone in my school, not just the people within the walls of my classroom. I think getting to know everyone in your school makes you know your school a lot more in depth. Spending time with other students and other administration showed me how much this school works to help their students. One thing I did was attend a meeting with the ESL teacher and the principal. This was very eye-opening and helpful because I got to know the principal better and got to know his vision for his school. He is very passionate about helping the students and making sure they have the best experience at school and making sure they have many opportunities. He is very caring and kind, but he can also put his foot down when needed. I also followed a student in my class that is an ESL student through his ESL classes. The ESL teacher was very open to us following along, and she gave us lots of useful tips. Seeing my student in his ESL classes helped me understand what he goes through on a daily basis, and it shows me how just amazing it is that my school has resources like this for ESL students. Included this quote, "School is a building which has 4 walls with tomorrow inside." I did this quote because I think this really applies to my school. Overall, this was such an amazing experience. I learned a lot about how to be a good teacher and how every day I will learn more and more. One question that emerged from this experience is, how do I take all the knowledge I learned from my classes and my field into my own classroom And how do I make sure all my students are seen and all have access in my classroom? I think this will be something that I will always be asking myself. One thing that my teacher told me that really stuck with me is she said, even after teaching for 16 years, I'm still learning every day. Every time you do a lesson, you will see how you can do it better and you will fix it for the next time you teach it. Never feel like you failed. Always learn from your mistakes. One specific thing I learned from this experience was to always have resources for your kids to help them emotionally. I think getting to know your students and their struggles is very important. And I think it is very important to support your students and show them that you're always there for them and that you care. I witnessed this a lot with my teachers during my field experience. I saw how many times they pulled a kid aside to make sure they were okay, and how many times they addressed the class with a community concern. They explained what the problem was, why it was a problem, and why the kids needed to make better choices. And they also gave the students examples on how they could make a better choice in that scenario. I also witnessed sending them kids to calm down in the back of the classroom, and I saw how much this helped the child. I will definitely do these things in my future classroom. They taught me how to really support my students and their emotions. I included this quote: "When little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, it's our job to share our calm, not join their chaos." I think as educators, we need to help our students with their emotions and not add to that struggle or that frustration. I also learned some things that I would do differently for my future classroom. At my school in first grade, the students do not learn science, so we only saw a little bit of science instruction. In my future classroom, I'm going to make sure I put in a lot of effort to include science in my content. I think science is really important for the students to learn, and the students love it so much. You can do so many fun and engaging activities with them and have it connect to reading and writing. When me and my partner taught our science lesson about the butterfly life cycle, we also did an activity with them at the end, and they all loved it so much. We got to see how smart they were and how creative they were. Overall, I think it is really super important to make your lessons fun and engaging for your students. Overall, this experience has really shown me how much I would love to teach first grade. At first, I always thought I would want to teach kindergarten, but after this experience, I think I would be really happy in a first grade classroom. I love how much the students learn about reading and writing in this grade and how much growth they have over the school year. I already saw so much growth in the students through my time in the field, and I really enjoyed seeing that. Crawford has such a great community climate and culture, and it is a school I would enjoy spending more time at. I'm so thankful I got this opportunity and experience, and I'm excited for the other experiences and opportunities I will get in the future at Miami.